You are a criminal. I don't mean you might be. I mean statistically. By the time you go to bed tonight, you will have violated at least 3 federal laws. You didn't rob a bank. You didn't steal a car. You probably just logged into Netflix. Or maybe you just carried a permanent marker in your pocket in the wrong city. There is a legal theory called the 3 felonies a day rule. It states that the average citizen is so buried under obscure statutes that you are constantly walking a tightrope of incarceration without even knowing it. So today, we aren't just listing weird laws. We are going to audit your life. We're going to look at the crimes you've already committed this morning. And we need to talk about the one specific zombie law from 1986 that effectively makes every single person watching this video a federal felon. Let's start with the crime you committed 10 seconds before clicking this video. Have you ever signed up for a website, Facebook, Gmail, a random forum, and used a fake name? Maybe you didn't want to give your real last name to a sketchy app. Yay! Congratulations! In the eyes of the U.S. Department of Justice, you may have just committed computer fraud. This brings us to the villain of our story, the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, or CFAA. Written in 1986, before the World Wide Web even existed, this law makes it a crime to access a computer without authorization. Here is where the trap snaps shut. Terms of service agreements often forbid sharing passwords. We all do it. You give your Netflix login to your mom? You give your Spotify to your roommate? Technically, you are exceeding authorized access. Under a strict reading of the CFAA, sharing your streaming password could be classified as a federal crime punishable by prison time. Now, obviously, the FBI isn't going to kick down your door for watching Stranger Things on your mom's account. But the law says they could, and that's the terrifying part. The system relies on prosecutorial discretion, basically the police promising to be chill about it. But if they wanted to get you, they have the ammo. But maybe you don't share passwords. You're safe, right? Have you ever been at a coffee shop, seen a Wi-Fi network called Linksys or Guest that wasn't password protected and just connected? Unauthorized access. Piggybacking. In states like Florida, people have been charged with a 3rd-degree felony for using open Wi-Fi from a parked car. So, digital existence is a minefield. But surely, the physical world is safer. Actually, it's much, much dumber. We tend to think laws are there to stop bad people from doing bad things. But a massive chunk of the penal code is dedicated to stopping good people from doing nice things. Picture this. You see a stranger's parking meter is about to expire. The parking enforcement officer is walking down the block. Being a hero, you drop a quarter in their meter to save them a ticket. You just broke the law. In many cities, this is considered interference with government revenue. The city wants that ticket money. By paying the meter, you are effectively stealing a fine from the local government. In Keene, New Hampshire, a group of Robin Hoods were actually sued by the city for repeatedly saving people from tickets. But frankly, you might be a criminal just by what you have in your pocket right now. Do you carry a permanent marker? A Sharpie? If you are under 18, or in some jurisdictions, even if you're an adult without valid business, possessing graffiti tools in public spaces is a misdemeanor. In parts of California, carrying an aerosol can of silly string on Halloween is illegal. In Alabama, possessing confetti can be a violation. The logic is pre-crime. They assume if you have the marker, you will vandalize the bus stop. You are guilty of potential intent. And this idea that the government owns the public space and you're just a guest gets even weirder when we talk about nature. If you think it's crazy that you can't put a quarter in a meter, wait until I tell you that in some states, you don't even own the rain falling on your own roof. We'll get to the water wars in a minute. But first, we have to look at the one place you think you're safe. Your own mail. Let's say you live in an apartment. You get a letter for the previous tenant. Or maybe your roommate is out of town and asks, "Hey, can you open that letter from the bank and tell me what it says?" You say yes. You rip it open. You have just committed obstruction of correspondence. Federal law, up to 5 years in prison. Technically, permission doesn't matter. The Postal Service is sacred ground. Until that letter is in the hands of the addressee, interfering with it is a felony. Even throwing away junk mail addressed to a previous tenant is technically destroying mail. You are legally required to write "return to sender" and put it back in the box. Have you ever done that? Or did you just toss the Pizza Hut coupon addressed to John Smith in the bin? Criminal. But mail is government property. Fine. But surely nature is free. Remember that water war I mentioned? In several western U.S. states, Colorado and Utah historically being the strictest, collecting rainwater in a barrel was, for a long time, illegal. Why? Because of prior appropriation. The logic is that the rain falling on your roof is destined for a river, which belongs to a farmer 50 miles downstream who bought the rights to that water in 1890. By catching it in a bucket, you are stealing his water before it gets to him. Laws are changing now to allow for small-scale collection, but the principle remains. You don't own your environment. And this gets to the wildest category of all, the zombie laws. Did you know that in the UK, it is technically illegal to handle a salmon in suspicious circumstances? That is a real law, the Salmon Act of 1986. In Kentucky, there are laws about how many beverages you can buy at once. So, why does any of this matter? Are you actually going to jail for using a fake name on Facebook or holding a salmon suspiciously? Probably not. But the 3 felonies a day problem reveals a bug in the system. When everything is illegal, the law stops being a shield for the innocent and becomes a weapon for the powerful. If they want to find a crime you've committed, they will find one. You are a criminal. But don't worry. So is the judge, so is the police officer, and so am I. Just maybe don't tell anyone you shared your Netflix password.